Good Wednesday evening, listeners. For those of you who may be joining me, welcome to Conversations of a Sister here on my YouTube channel. Wow, I guess it's been about a year and a half since I've been online with Conversations of a Sister. Life happens, things happen, and I was just, I don't know, offline for a while. I guess I was just busy with other things in my life. My mom relocated here a couple of years ago, and it took some time, I guess, adjusting her to a schedule as well as myself, getting her acclimated into, what life was going to be like now that she's here in the state of New Jersey. And I guess I kind of lost wind of conversations. So I decided that I wanted to come back on this Valentine's Day in the middle of Black History Month, although Black History Month is 365 days a year. I decided to do it this Valentine's Day simply because Valentine's Day was coming up in conversation amongst friends. I must say that there are a lot of singles now who think differently about Valentine's Day, and even a lot of you, because I saw and read a lot of your comments that you left on the Conversations of a Sister blog. I appreciate that. And I have been in contact with a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of readers, a lot of followers who didn't mind sharing what they was doing on this day. Now, we do have some readers and some followers who feel like Valentine's Day is just an unnecessary holiday. And it's quite a few people who feel that way, that Valentine's Day is just like an unnecessary holiday. Um, I think when I was looking at the View this morning, they said something about it has become commercialized. And I couldn't agree with that more. It has become commercialized because I went into the store the other day and it's like all you see is the candy, the hearts, the stuffed animals. Macy's had their big jewelry sale. So, for those who were planning to get engaged or to just give jewelry on Valentine's Day. But I think that not a day should go by, not necessarily Valentine's Day, but not a day should go by wherein we do not express our love and our care for the people that we have in our lives. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to take people for granted. And people do take people for granted. And when you don't have those people anymore, then you regret that you took them for granted. So, a lot of times in my life, when I think about things, I hope and I pray that the people in my life I have not taken for granted. And that's for sure. So, for those of you who may be tuning in here on YouTube, thank you for joining me tonight as we kick off the season of Conversations of a Sister. I'm gathering that as the show progresses, as we move forward in months to come, I will be having other guests join me. The plan and the goal is to pick up where I left off for meaningful conversation. Because in today's world and in today's society, there is so much going on, especially after the pandemic, especially after this lockdown. Sometimes I feel like people have just lost their mind or they just want to go crazy with the things that they feel like they should do or that they should be expressing. So I think that there's a lot going on. We have an election year coming up. We have several things that is being said about that. We have the former president, Donald Trump, who is looking to be reelected. I'm sure a lot of you have opinions about that, but these are conversations for another show. But these are conversations that we'll have to cover. So tonight, being that it's Valentine's Day, I wanted to talk about singles because single people, some of them, not all of them, feel left out on Valentine's Day. I read on my blog how one young lady feel as though Valentine's Day is for couples. Valentine's Day is not for couples. Valentine's Day is for people that you love. But then again, that's her opinion. She feels like it's for couples. When I was talking to this friend of mine, I said to him, Valentine's Day is not really for you, it's for your girlfriend. And he was like, excuse you? I don't think so. He was like, Valentine's Day is for me as well. Us brothers, we want love. We like to celebrate Valentine's Day. We don't only want to give gifts, but we want to be gifted with gifts as well. And I liked his attitude that he felt that way because then that meant that there was hope. And as I talked to a lot of male friends today via text message or by phone, they kinda felt the same way. So, why do some men think, well, not all men, but some men think that Valentine's Day is just for women? Is it because of the gift giving? Is it because they advertise chocolate in the supermarkets and in the stores, wherein that's something they give out? But, it's like my one friend said, men like chocolate too. Chocolate is not just a woman thing, it's a man's thing as well. And, I'm a big jewelry person. And for those of you who know me, you know that. And look, a lot of the sales that were online and throughout the internet and in stores, they not only did jewelry sales for women, but they had some sales for men as well. I just wanted to drink my tea while it's sitting here on my cup warmer, getting a little cold. But yeah, men are like, we're down. We're down for the sales on jewelry. We want to get jewelry and chocolates too. It goes both ways. So, I just kind of delved around and delved into what was happening to get a feel of what single people was doing this Valentine's Day. So you have some people who had or hosted Galentine's Day. That's a day where all females get together, all the gals, they get together and they celebrate Valentine's Day. You know, you would come together with all of your girlfriends and have a celebration. And what does that celebration look like? It looks like whatever it is you want to do. If you want to get together and have a cup of tea, if you want to get together for coffee, if you want to get together for hors d'oeuvres or, to just have appetizers, if you want to throw a dinner party, it's something that girls got together and did for Valentine's Day. And instead of calling it Valentine's Day, they called it Galentine's Day because that's where all the gals came together and they hung out. Girls hang out a lot, just as guys hang out a lot. When you have a bunch of friends or a couple of friends or a few friends that you enjoy spending time with, now is the time or now is the day as any other day ever to spend time with. It's like, why not? This Valentine's Day, I gifted my mom with the Foot Nanny Color Purple gift set, and she loved it. The gift set was just great. It came with a lavender foot cream. It had, which was purple. It had the lavender mist spray or oil that you put in bath water. It had a lavender balm for the heel of your feet. It had two pairs of socks. It had buffers for the feet. I mean, it was an excellent gift box that came or was sold by the Foot Nanny with the color purple in mind. Because, the Foot Nanny, Oprah kind of made her famous. And her creams are handmade. And she said a lot of them were inspired by her grandmother. So, our elders, they believed in old recipes. They believed in old concoctions for healing. And nowadays, we're going back to that. We're looking back to that for healing. We're going back to what our grandmothers did. So she said a lot of the concoctions that she uses for her foot cream was inspired by her grandmother. So I think that's awesome. And Lord knows I use her foot cream. I use her tea tree cream, and it is out of this world. It is great for itchy feet. A lot of her cream, she have a eucalyptus cream that is good for smelly feet. She has a cream for all of your foot fetishes or issues. The Foot Nanny has it going on. So that I must say, and because it's a gift that I love, it is something that I gifted my mom with. I gifted her with a box of the Foot Nanny cream, and she absolutely loved it. And I don't just wait until Valentine's Day to gift her with something. I like to give gifts as they are appropriate throughout the year, because I think that it is important to show the people that we love how much we appreciate them, even if it's with the smallest things. Now, everybody don't know how to receive gifts, you know? And some people do feel like Valentine's Day is overrated. And some people do feel like Valentine's Day is grossly commercialized. And these things may be true. But just because that might be what it is does not mean that that is how we have to celebrate it, or that is it is not how it should be dictated to how we celebrate it, because no one should dictate what you do and how you do it. You can always take something and personalize it. When I say personalize it, you take it and you make it your own. So if you feel like Valentine's Day is commercialized, then you don't spend money, but you become creative by doing something else, or you become creative by just participating in something else, because there's always something that you can do to show someone that you appreciate them, you know even if it is to give them flowers, or if it's to give them a box of candy. I received today a box of chocolates, a beautiful box of expensive chocolates, and I thought that the gesture was just it was just great. It was just awesome. I'm just not all that big on chocolates, but it was the thought that counted, that this person went out of their way to just give me a box of chocolates. So I thought that was sweet, because that was their way of expressing how they felt on this Valentine's Day. For those of you who are tuning into Conversations of a Sister, I'm talking about being single on Valentine's Day. I think that some people have a problem with it, and you shouldn't. I think that is all about your perspective in it. Now, I'll tell you something. Some years ago, I used to hate Valentine's Day for the same reasons. I thought it was overrated. But, I'll have some girlfriends who tell you I just hated it because, I wasn't hooked up, or I wasn't in a relationship. And that's not true. I hated it for the same reasons. I thought that it was overrated. But, you know, at the time, I also think that I have a lot of memories from Valentine's Days past. And I don't know about y'all, but sometimes when we come upon certain days and certain celebrations, you think about, these particular days, in the past. So, when I lived at home, Valentine's Day was a big deal to my father. My father always came home with a box of candy for my mom and gifts for my sisters and I. Now, these were not little gifts. Like, my father would buy us big gifts. I remember one Valentine's Day, we all got coats. We all got these little fur coats that he had bought us for Valentine's Day. So it was like each Valentine's Day, I would look forward to my father coming home with something because it was always something. But that was his way of celebrating Valentine's Day. But then, on Valentine's Day, I was in a relationship and I was dating this guy, and it was a big deal, especially in my family. I had six siblings, and they were like, "Oh wow, what is he going to give you for Valentine's Day?" And I was young, and when you're dating, you really don't know the person that you're dating. You don't know what kind of taste they have. So this particular Valentine's Day, I was so nervous because I was like, okay, I don't know what kind of taste that he has, and I don't know what he's gonna get me for Valentine's Day, and I don't even think I had gotten him anything. And at that time, we had met. We went to a restaurant because we used to always go to this restaurant. I can't remember what day it was, but we used to go to this particular restaurant every other week or every week because this was at the time my boyfriend's day off. So this day that we went to the restaurant, it was his day off, and it just so happens to be Valentine's Day. So my family was all excited because it was like, "Oh my God, you're gonna meet him now? It's Valentine's Day. Oh, we can't wait to see what he's gonna gift you with and the whole nine." Well, I went, I met him. Um, we had dinner. We had a very nice dinner. And then he gave me his gift. And his gift for Valentine's Day was matching sweatshirts. And it had our name on it, Tracy Ann. I won't say his name, but it was inside of a big heart. I had the sweatshirt. I think my sweatshirt was short sleeve, and it had our names on it in a heart. And then he had the sweatshirt. His was long sleeves. It had, our names in it and a heart. And he had given me also with that uh, a stuffed animal. And at the time, I was like, oh God, he's giving me a sweatshirt with our names on it. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. At the time, I thought it was corny, but at the same time, don't get me wrong, I appreciated it because I felt like, you know, it was the thought. It was the thought that count. At the end of the day, it was about what counted, and it was the thought that count. So when Valentine's Day comes, I think about past Valentine's days when I was in relationships. I remember when I was dating this one guy, and he knew that I was a big Prince fan. So one Valentine's Day, he gifted me with tickets to see Prince. And, I was so excited because I was like, oh my God, he's giving me tickets to see Prince. But little did I know he was going with me to the concert. I thought that, it was going to be a ticket for me and a girlfriend of my choice. But he was like, no, I'm going with you to the concert. So I was like, man, how am I going to scream for Prince? And he's here with me. I wanted to go with a girlfriend, but it just wasn't possible because, his idea was that he had gotten these Prince tickets and he wanted to see Prince with me. He was like, "You're a Prince fan? I'm going to see Prince with you. You are not going to see Prince alone. I got the tickets for the both of us." So I was like, "Okay, then. Well, alrighty then. Thank you. That's awesome." So he and I wound up going to the Prince concert. So it's like when Valentine's Day comes, I think about all past Valentine's Day wherein I've had all of these different gifts when I was in, you know, certain relationships. And when I look back on it now, I'm like, oh gosh, those were the days. And of course, I'm not that person now, but when you think about it, it's almost like, it's certain things that you kind of grow out of, and you're glad that you've grown out of them. So now, when I look at Valentine's Day, I guess I look at it in a different perspective um, because I am single but I'm not desperate. But at the same time, I think about all the Valentine's days that have passed, wherein I think about where I am now, and I'm like, wow, I'm just not that person. So I now view Valentine's Day as a day to express your love for someone else. And I like doing that because I'm just a giver. I'm just a giver, at heart. And sometimes people take advantage of that. So it's like, when you're like that, you have to be careful because people will take advantage of it. So I thank God that I am a giver to those who know their boundaries and to those who are willing to reciprocate my giving on Valentine's Day. But I think that it is important to express your love for individuals because life is fleeting. I don't want to say it's short. I want to say it's fleeting. And I think that when we have different experiences in life, we are going to get a different perspective on things. And at the end of the day, my hope and my prayer is that you don't take individuals for granted and that you do take the time to express how you feel to those in your life that you love. Because one day you may not be able to, and then you'll regret it, you know? You'll be like, "Oh my God, I wish I had done things different. I wish I had thought about it further and just done things differently." And then when you think about it, you don't want to have regret. So the time is now to do what you feel is right and remembering somebody or expressing your love to someone on Valentine's Day. And not just today, but every day, you know? Just picking up that mantra and, making it a habit, making it something daily, forming bonds and forming traditions that you want to carry. I have traditions that, I like to carry. I won't say what they are, but it does entail spending time with people that you love because we don't have forever. And as I stated, time is fleeting. So, people that you have in your life is something that you want to take advantage of. So, my single people. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of single people in my life who are doing things tonight on this Valentine's Day. I have some singles who said that they were going to see the new Bob Marley movie that came out tonight. I don't know the name of the movie, but I know it came out tonight. And there were some individuals going to see it. I know one of my girlfriends was going to see it as well. I have a girlfriend who did a massage today. I have another girlfriend who did a foot massage today. I have another girlfriend who got together with some other girlfriends just to do lunch today. I have another girlfriend who went and took a cycling class today. That class started at 6 a.m. Kudos to her. But it was something that she wanted to do. I had another girlfriend who spent the day getting her nails done. I had another girlfriend who spent the day getting a facial. So singles are doing it for themselves. Trust me, they're not hating, they're not sad, and they're not alone. I think that singles are adapting quite well. Yes, even on Valentine's Day, they are not hating because there is nothing to hate on. They realize that in due time, they won't always be single on Valentine's Day. I was on Instagram earlier. Um, you know, I don't have my assistant Raven anymore. Raven is married and living happily ever after. But she keeps in contact from time to time. So, she and I were on IG today and we were just looking at a lot of comments and looking at a lot of things on the blog. And there was a young lady who stated, she was like, wow, she said, I always count down hoping that I'm not going to be single. She said on Valentine's Day. She was like, but here I am, another Valentine's Day, and I'm single. And I said to her, you really have to change your attitude. And when you change your attitude, then things will change for you. But at the same time, you shouldn't just go out and hook up with anybody just because you don't want to be single for Valentine's Day. You can be in a relationship for 6 months and bam, when Valentine's Day comes, you still may be single because you broke up with that person. So you cannot revolve your life around having a relationship based upon different holidays on the calendar. You just can't do it. You have to live your life because life is meant to be lived. And you can't live it based upon a status. That's ridiculous. So, whether you're single Valentine's Day this year or Valentine's Day next year, that's a status that you should not adopt. You should just adopt the, the motto or the attitude that regardless to whatever state that I am in, I am going to be happy and I am going to be content. Because you have to first be happy and content with self before someone else is invited into your world. Because at the end of the day, somebody else can't make you happy. You have to make yourself happy. And you have to be happy and you have to be whole. You can't have this attitude of, oh my God, if I don't have anybody, I'm just miserable on Valentine's Day. Heck no. You can't adopt that type of attitude. If you want to go out to eat, take yourself out to eat. If you want to buy yourself a piece of jewelry, buy yourself a piece of jewelry. But even if you don't do it on Valentine's Day, be good to yourself, period. You can't look for a relationship to be good to you because this is something that you have to do to yourself. You have to love yourself first. I can't stress that enough. I can't stress enough that happiness is an inside job. I got insulted one time because this guy said to me, "Oh my God, you're always so happy. You must really be having good sex." And I was like, "Excuse you?" He was like, "Oh, yeah, most women who are happy is because they're really having good sex." I thought that that was the most ignorant thing that I had ever heard of in my life. So I have to be plowed to be happy. I have to have somebody doing me in order to be happy. I thought it was ridiculous. I also thought it was vain and very superficial. Because if I'm not happy before the sex, I'm not going to be happy when the sex stops. Nothing, nothing outside of self should give you a happiness that you can't give yourself. And happiness is an inside job, whether you're a plus or just a one. You have to be happy with whatever state that you are in. And that's on Valentine's Day and any other day. It shouldn't matter. And for those of you who are single, thank you so much for your comments on the blog. A lot of you were just so uplifting and you had such great attitudes about it. Because I've actually seen women on Instagram, because I'm on the gram a lot. I'm on Instagram a lot. And I've actually seen women on Instagram crying because they're single. And I just think that's so pathetic. I also think that it's very sad because it's like, really? It's like, you have to get over it. I have never, ever, and I'll tell you the secret, I have never, ever seen in an obituary that he or she died because they didn't have a man, or he or she died because they didn't have a woman. No one has ever died from being single. So cheer up, get your life, and love your life, and do what is going to make you happy. And in due time, when you have that plus one, you'll appreciate that person all the more because you'll remember what it was like in your single days and on Valentine's Day. But you have to enjoy yourself and you have to have a good time at doing it. And I've met some fine brothers who are happy being single, dating, and having fun because it's not going to always be that way. You would hope not. But if it is, if that is your state in whatever state that you are in, you have to learn to appreciate it, accept it, and be content. As always, whatsoever things are honest, just, pure, and of a good report, I want you to think on these things. Until next week, have an awesome Valentine's Day evening and do something for yourself. and make it something that you love. Until next week, later.